Hello trainers, Ganeto here, and today we're diving together into the new Psychic Cup with my best teams video. Today we're gonna analyze this weird cup in depth and we're gonna see not only the best teams but how you can play them and of course the core breakers, so I would recommend staying till the end if you do not want to miss any of that action on this video. So starting off with the first team out of the total 4, and we're gonna see Victini up in front while Braxis and the amazing Galarian Rapidash will be our solid backline. So this team relies a lot on its charge attacks to be extremely useful, while on the closing part you might want to get those shields up to play because your Braxis then can farm down with your fast attacks basically anything, because Bite here is gonna deal super effective damage to those Psychic types, and the worst case scenario it is just gonna deal neutral damage. That's why this Psychic Cup might also be called as the Braxis Cup. So up in front you do not even need a second move most of the times on your Victini. Mostly go with V-Create like I do over here and you're gonna be just fine. You do not need a lot of those quick attacks to get there, so this is another plus for your Victini up in front. And I like the Victini up in front because it can clear the debuff very easily, going with back-to-back V-Creates on whatever the opponent might have, so that then you can switch out into your Galarian Rapidash and see what you can do over here. Speaking of Galarian Rapidash, this Pokemon is amazing and we're gonna use it with Body Slam and Mega Horn without Play Rough. You do not need it, Mega Horn is still gonna do a lot of damage on those Psychic types. As a core breaker, Malamar here can do a lot of solid work against any Psychic type, so basically a very safe Pokemon, but we're gonna see it on the next team showcase as well. Here it is trainers on the next team showcase, and I do not think that you need Malamar with superpower. I believe that with Psycho Cut, Foul Play and Hyper Beam you can have the best closing scenario for this cup. A Hyper Beam can still one-shot down any of its counters, even a whole Charber out of existence, so take note of that move because you might not only use it on your team but also on your opponents, so you need to take care of Malamar most of the times with your shields. Up in front we got Slow King, which is absolutely amazing for this cup with its Surfs and Hex, while Shadow Ball will be your main charge attack, to be honest, on this Psychic Cup format. As a safe switch, I think that the magical leaf version of Gardevoir can be kinda handy, able to deal a lot of neutral damage throughout the entire meta while also getting the chance to buff up your attack stat is absolutely crazy, and I recommend going for the non-shadow for that little bit of extra bulk. As a core breaker, I haven't found any for this team other than the Confusion user on the face of Oranguru. This Pokemon can be kinda troublesome for this team because it has access to moves that can both wall down the Gardevoir and Galarian Slowking, but against Malamar it is still gonna struggle, so it is a core breaker but such a soft one. Coming up next, we're meeting up with another Braxis team. So unfortunately we do not have a lot of options for the Psychic Cup format. It is so condensed and so limited that we have to use some of the super meta Pokemon once again on the next team showcase. So Braxis here is gonna be our closer, while the safe switch will be Bronzong. I really like Bronzong on this cup. It's so safe that you can use it pretty easily with Feint Attack, able to deal a lot of damage on those Psychic type Pokemon, and this Steel typing of its own can absolutely help it against a lot of threats, because if you didn't know, Steel typing is the best typing, defensively resisting a lot of things. Up in front we're gonna have a fighter that is afraid of the Charmers, but instead it is also gonna use Charm on its own, so you can see how you can use this team. This team is absolutely crazy on the fast attack pressure. If you're looking for a fast team, this one is definitely for you. If you want to replace Gardevoir, actually your Gallade with Gardevoir, you're gonna be on a very good spot as well, so feel free to do so, but I think that the fighting option and the Leaf Blades that Gallade has absolutely put it on the advantage. As a core breaker, obviously you're gonna see that you will struggle a little bit against a Charmer up in front because you might have Charm but also you take super effective damage from those Charms being a part fighting type Pokemon, while those Bites are still not gonna be enough to finish off the remaining HP that this Charmer might have. But also you're kinda glassy on the Braxis factor on the closing part, so take note of that when you remain with 2 shields remaining against your opponent with your Braxis. This final team showcase is for those that enjoy Great League, and that's because of the bulk that it has on its backline. Raichu up in front might not be that bulky, but still can reach to back-to-back wild charges or even the thunder punches to get some shields out of the way, while you can also not only get the shields but also the knockout if the opponent is not careful at all. So Raichu in the meta is only afraid of Claydol, to be honest. Everything else might be playable, so you can always rely on it up in front. Just in case you have a weird threat, something like a Claydol, as we have already said, up in front, then your safe switch has to be your Medicham. And for this cap, Medicham doesn't need Psychic at all. Good news is that it also got nerfed this season, so you cannot rely at all on this move. So instead, you can use it with Ice Punch, which is pretty familiar with counter, and of course as your second charge attack. Not even Power Punch, just go straight with Dynamic Punch and you are not gonna regret it. Over here I have Psychic, which is obviously a mistake, but I think that Dynamic Punch is just gonna put you on the advantage, even and on the advance in total, even against a threat like Malamar, so feel free to count on it for the safe sweet spot, while Ice Punches can still do a lot of work with your bulk against Fairy-type Pokemon, so definitely an all-around Pokemon to use for this Psychic Cup. As a closer, I think that Cresselia is an absolute beast, so if you do not have Cresselia, I think that something like a Deoxys might also work for you, but Cresselia having access to Moonblast for those Malamars or just Grass Knot for the Braxis is just gonna be an amazing option for the closing part. As a core breaker here, I think that the Poison Jab version of Slowbro from Galar can absolutely wreck apart a lot of havoc in the meta. You can still destroy it down with a Future Sight, with your Psychic or with your Wild Charges, but still, are you gonna have those moves ready? Because as we have already said, Grass Knot and Moonblast will be for your Cresselia, Ice Punch and Dynamic Punch will be for your Medicham, while up in front still you can get to back-to-back Wild Charge against this Pokemon, and in the worst case scenario you can draw it out with your Medicham, sacrificed in the process, then return to the battle with your Raichu and you are still gonna be fine. So definitely a core breaker, but such a soft one that you can totally play around. So this is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching and for staying till the end. Just be sure to leave a huge like before you go, and please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to see more of my content here on YouTube. So with that said, I have 2 videos for you to check out. Feel free to do so, and I will see you all into our next upload.